Alright, today we're going to be talking about fractions and ratios. These are two types of relationships that are very common in math and science, and you can see them in money, pizza, food, or even music, so they're very good to know and manipulate. So a fraction is a part to whole relationship. We're going to have x, which is the numerator, that kind of part, and we're going to have the denominator, which is the whole. So if we have a pizza that's divided into 4 slices, one slice would be 1, the numerator, out of 4 entire slices in the whole, so 1/4. To manipulate these, we're going to use addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So addition and subtraction is really simple when we have the same denominator. So let's say we have an 8-slice pizza. We have 2 out of 8 slices, and we want to add that to 1 out of 8 slices. We're going to carry over the 8 slices, and then just add the 2 numerators. So we'll end up with 3/8. If we do that with subtraction, it's the same. So 2/8. We minus 1/8 from there. We're going to carry over our 8 slices, and we subtract 2 and 1. We're going to end up with 1 out of 8 slices. It gets a little more tricky when we have different denominators, but we're going to use the bow tie method, and with a little practice and patience, it's not too bad. So let's say we have 2/7 and we want to add that to 3/5. We're going to multiply these 2 diagonal sections. So 5 times 2 is 10, then 7 times 3 is 21. We add them up, and our answer for the numerator is going to be 31. And then for the denominator, all we're going to do is multiply these 2 original denominators, and that gives us 35. And our answer is 31/35. Not too tricky. And then we're going to do the same thing for if we want to do subtraction. So let's say we have 4/5 and we want to subtract 1/2 from that. Again, we do our angles right there. So 4 times 2 is 8, and then 5 times 1 is 5. Subtract those, and that gives us 3 for our numerator answer. And again, we just multiply the 2 denominators, and then that's 3/10. So not too bad, but again, it just takes a little bit more practice. Then we're going to move on to multiplication. Multiplication is actually fairly simple for fractions. Say we have 14/15, and we want to multiply that by 5/6. We're just going to multiply our 2 numerators together and our 2 denominators together. So 14 times 5 is going to be 70, and then 15 times 6 is going to be 90. And we can simplify that because they both have a factor of 10. That's going to give us 7/9. Now let's say we don't like working with all these big numbers and we want to simplify them to begin with. So we'll start again with 14 over 15 multiplied by 5/6. And we're going to look for factors of our diagonals once again. So 14 and 6 both have a factor of 2, so we can simplify that to 7 and then 3. And then 15 and 5 both have the factor of 5, so that's 3 and 1. Then we just multiply out like normal. So we have 7 times 1 is 7, 3 times 3 is 9, and we got that pretty easily. It takes a little longer because you have to look for the factors, but if you're worried about the big numbers, then that's a great way to work around that. Let's take division. Division's a little different because we're going to have to flip the second factor, or the second fraction, and then multiply them. So if we have 3/5, we want to divide that by 2/3, it really looks like 3/5 times 3/2. Then we just multiply it like normal. 3 times 3 is 9, 5 times 2 is 10. Works out pretty simple. Now, ratios are a little bit different than fractions. They're a relationship that is a part-to-part relationship. So we have 10 total animals, but 7 of those animals are dogs and 3 of them are cats. Then we have a relationship of 7 dogs to 3 cats. This is important for if we have proportions, which means we know the ratio and then we know the total of one number, but we don't know the actual number for the other part of the ratio. So we'll use marbles for this example. Let's say our ratio is for every 3 red marbles, we have 5 blue marbles. And we know that there are 12 red marbles, but we don't know how many blue marbles there are. We're going to multiply these out. So then we have 60 time equaling 3x. Divide each side by 3. So we end up learning that we have 20 blue marbles.